Welcome, everyone. My name is Bevan Dufty, and I'm Director of HOPE for Housing Opportunity Partnership and Engagement. And we're so excited that you're all here for the public launch of the San Francisco Home for Heroes campaign. And so without further ado, let me introduce some of the individuals that are here with us. Some of those that you may not be hearing from, because we do have several speakers, but we have several veterans that are here and VASH recipients. So you will be able to talk to them after the press announcement and interview them on an individual basis. And so I want to acknowledge that Maria is here, and Michael, and Thomas, and Joseph, and Stephen. Have I touched on all the veterans that are here with us right now? And I'd like to say that this has been an incredible partnership, which was jump-started by our friends with HUD and the Veterans Administration, but we couldn't be successful without some of our partners. And so I'd like to say that the San Francisco Apartment Association has been an incredible, important part of this effort. And so Vanessa Lee Khalil and Carolyn Sintas are here from SFAA. I'd also like to say that Peter Reitz is here from the Small Property Owners of San Francisco, which represent thousands of property owners who are very important to housing our veterans. I'd also like to say a part of this story that hasn't been known is that Chinese American property owners have been really instrumental in housing several vets already, and we want to acknowledge that. And so we're so pleased that some of the leaders of the Chinese Real Estate Association of San Francisco are here. I'd like to acknowledge President Albert Tam, who is here. Our chairwoman, Amy Kong, is here. And we also have our president-elect of CREAA, Joan Hume, is here. CVS and Visa are providing gift cards, and I know Nathan Naiman is here from Visa. I don't know if anyone is here from CVS, but if you are here, you should come and get close to us. I'd like to also say that Martha Ruiz and Ed Cabrera of HUD have been incredibly important, and acknowledge them. You'll be hearing from leadership from HUD, and Jake Martin is here from the VA, and Joanne is here, who's part of the incredible casework that's gone on. Yvette Davis of Berg Davis has been a pro bono public affairs consultant to this effort, and Yvette is here. And Trent Rohrer and his incredible team, Trent, who leads the Human Services Agency, and Joyce Crum, who is his deputy for homeless services. Is Mike Scar here? Is Mike here from Philanthropy by Design? So I want to acknowledge that they have been helpful in pulling together donations that we've received when individuals need furnishings in order to move into an apartment. And although the Hotel Council is not here, I want to acknowledge Joe Licata of the SF Hilton, because she's making it possible for people to have kitchenware, dishes and pots and all the things that they need to start out. And then the 100,000 Homes campaign. And so to start us off, our Mayor, Ed Lee.
Thank you, Bevan. I want to, again, reiterate my thanks to members of the Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Farrell and Kim and Campos and the whole board as a whole working with me, and Bevan as an ex-person on the board as well. I think they're all proud of you and the work that we're all starting together with Henry and with Trent and the different service agencies. You know, I can't think of a more patriotic thing to do than to find a homeless veteran their home in San Francisco. And I'd be the first to say that despite all the success that we will ever do, and you know, our economy is growing and we're trying to find people jobs, housing is expensive. We will admit that, and that's why we're doing the Housing Trust Fund and all the other efforts. But a group of people that really deserve our help and our attention are our veterans. We owe it to you. We owe it to the sacrifices that you've made to the country and what you have done in your years to keep us safe. And so, yes, we join the President of the United States and his effort and what he signaled, even as late as yesterday when he was here, and that we honor that commitment by HUD. These vouchers are not easy to come by. They're precious. They're ones that, in light of the economy of the whole country, they're very precious. And so the thing that we can do is when these vouchers get into the hands of the lucky veterans that can get them, should we not honor that with the best effort to find housing, put a roof over, and have them individually have a lock and key for themselves in a great expensive place like San Francisco? So I just wanted to put it in context that our effort here is to do something right. It comes from the heart of San Francisco, and we want to do that. We owe our veterans to do that, and we're calling upon all of our both public partners as well as private partners. And I really want to thank our real estate partners, our apartment association members, for stepping up. We've got some great individuals that have come today with those units already being offered. And we are not only announcing, we are already in the effort of implementing this 50 vouchers for the first 100 days. And in fact, it's less than 100 days because Bevan, in his enthusiasm, started this program already on May 9th. So we're well into it. And we'll go through the data about what we've been able to accomplish. But we're also, as a city family, working to make sure that all the conditions of these vouchers are met in an expedited fashion. So that units have to be cleared. HUD requires that the units have to be inspected. They have to meet certain conditions. We will perform all of that within 48 hours of knowing where those units are. We'll make all of the different agencies work remarkably in a very easy way. So we cut all the paperwork and make it as painless as possible, again, to benefit our veterans and their need. And guess what? We're not waiting for the winter to set in. We're not waiting for stories to come out and say, and then have somebody with a camera, get to a veteran and how cold they are and frustrated they are in the middle of winter. Yes, the weather is good now. This is the time to do it. And last week, we had a vet move into a one-bedroom apartment, and his landlord received a check with the HUD voucher for $1,612 for the whole month of rent. That is a wonderful thing. This vet happened to be one that was turned down by over 100 landlords and had already given up on his voucher. His caseworker, Dennis, got back to him on Monday. And by that Friday, he was housed in 5 days. That should be our new turnaround standard right there, in 5 days. We owe it. That should be what we're doing. And I also want to thank, again, Henry Alvarez for our Housing Authority. You have worked out these vouchers and these systems with great partners of HUD, our regional directors here. That's fantastic, and our apartment associations. And then we've got, as Bevan said earlier, we've got great community partners who have been in the trenches on this for many, many years. Sword to plowshares. I'm so proud of you folks. You've been at it for so many years, and we're glad to keep your funding at a level and keep you working as a strong partner. I can't wait to open that Otis Street with you. It's going to be a nice effort there. I also want to thank the Chronicle and its Season of Sharing Fund, the Salvation Army. They're wonderful partners because they do provide additional help with move-in costs and clothing to our veterans. If you have an apartment, and I'm speaking out to the rest of the private sector in the city, or even the public sector in the city, if you've got a unit that's available, please offer that up for use. These are great vouchers. It's money behind it. It's serious money behind it. But we need the other side of it to be fulfilled. And so that's why we started this campaign. We will, I believe, get there, because I know that at the heart of anybody who does business or moves in San Francisco, they want to help. And we just have to get to it. We just want to make sure we present ourselves right. And at the heart of this, we know that we can get this done. And I want to just thank another property owner. I know Judy is here today. Thank you, Judy. You're setting up a great example. You've already started with us in helping out. And, if anybody out in the public wants to add to what Visa's doing and all the others in terms of helping with move-in costs, purchasing of furniture, or any other way you can help, we would greatly appreciate that. We'll incorporate that, and we will personally thank you for that effort. This is just San Francisco. We need to do this all over the country, as our president has said. I want to honor that because it is a national commitment and a national responsibility that we're fulfilling here in San Francisco. So for all of our partners that are here today, as a whole group together, we can make sure we end homelessness in San Francisco. Thank you very much for all of your help. Thank you.
So before our speakers, I'd like to welcome the members of the Rules Committee of the Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Mark Farrell, whose father was a veteran, Supervisor Jane Kim, and Supervisor David Campos, to come up collectively and share a word or two and go to committee.
First of all, I just want to thank the mayor and Bevan Dufty for inviting us to this press conference as someone that represents the Tenderloin and South of Market, and of course 150 Otis, which I'm so excited to eventually open, which is affordable housing for our veterans. It's just really great to see the commitment from the city to work with our property owners to house our veterans. And we can fund the subsidies, we can fund services, but we do need partners from our property owners to help us house our veterans. And shelters and homelessness is an issue that our office has been really prioritizing, and with the blessing of the mayor's office, we've been working very closely with Bevan Dufty, who's the director of HOPE, to figure out what we can do to improve our homelessness situation. But a huge population that, of course, is our veterans. And I think that there's nothing more sobering than seeing men and women who have served our country in our homeless shelters and on the streets, and that's something that's unacceptable. And I'm really glad to see that this partnership is moving forward. Thank you very much.
And I'd just like to echo as well to thank former Supervisor Bevan Dufty and Mayor Lee for making this effort possible. You know, as a son of a military veteran, a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel who served in Vietnam, to me this is not only personal, but I think it's a moral obligation that we have in government to do everything we can to support our veterans. And whether that's on a local level here in the city, at a state level, or the national level, as President Obama has articulated lately, there's nothing we can do that is more patriotic than to help our veterans. This is such a big step in the right direction on a local level. And again, I want to thank not only our government administration here, but as well all the public and private partners that are here today. It could not happen without everyone in this room. So thank you all very much on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, and we look forward to making this a real success and a model for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, Bevan Dufty and I sat next to each other in the chamber of the Board of Supervisors for a couple of years, and it's great to see him in this role. Mr. Mayor, you're being served very well by Supervisor Dufty. I do want to echo all the remarks that have been made, and I especially want to thank all the partners who are here, especially the partners in the private sector that are making this happen. The fact is that if this issue is going to be addressed the right way, it's going to be addressed the right way in San Francisco. We are the city that knows how to get these things done, and so we are doing something where we're setting an example for the rest of the country, and I want to thank the mayor for taking this issue on as a priority. I think it is disgraceful that we have so many veterans who sacrifice for their country that don't have a roof over their head, and I think it's really great, and I'm proud that we in San Francisco are the ones who are leading the way. So thank you very much.
So our partnership with HUD and the VA is at the forefront, and as the mayor indicated, Henry Alvarez is our great director of the Housing Authority, works directly with the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Our regional administrator, Ophelia Bascal, is actually with the president today and unable to be here, but we're so grateful that the deputy regional administrator, Wayne Saceda, is here on behalf of HUD to bring remarks. Wayne.
So I want to thank you, and good afternoon. First, I'd like to say that as the HUD Deputy Regional Administrator, I'm honored to be standing here with San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee and HOPE Director Bevan Dufty, San Francisco Housing Authority Executive Director Henry Alvarez, and SWORD Plowshares Executive Director Michael Blecker. My federal colleague Jake Martin from the San Francisco Veterans Affairs Medical Centers, very good, and our private sector property owners as we help support this housing program for homeless veterans. As mentioned earlier, the 100 Days program is part of a larger national effort called 100,000 Homes, in which HUD, VA, and the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness are working together with local communities around the country in a bold initiative to end chronic homelessness for the most vulnerable on our streets. This national effort was launched in May with 3 regional training boot camps. One was in San Diego, one was in Orlando, and one was in Houston. And at these two-day events, teams made up of local leaders from the VA, public housing authorities, the continuum of care, HUD, and the nonprofit sector worked together to set ambitious 100-day goals and develop work plans to achieve these goals. Most of the goals that were set involved accelerating the use of the HUD VASH vouchers while improving the targeting of those vouchers to the most vulnerable homeless veterans. Each of the community teams left their workshop at the boot camp with a 100-day goal and plan. The goals were framed around achieving real results, placing a specific number of chronically homeless veterans in permanent housing in 100 days. or reducing the time from the initial contact to placement in permanent housing. Achieving these goals represents significant benchmarks of progress. HUD is proud to partner with the VA and the City and County of San Francisco on behalf of homeless veterans. To clarify how the HUD VASH program works, HUD was authorized by Congress in March of this year to fund San Francisco $2.8 million for an additional 200 housing vouchers. The VA identifies the homeless veteran, refers that veteran to the San Francisco Housing Authority for housing placement, and provides the veteran with case management services. These are all important elements of the program and distinguishes it from the CHOICE program. HUD was the federal agency that convened the San Francisco Homes for Heroes and continues to guide the initiative. And I want to make sure that I acknowledge our HUD's own Martha Ruiz as the team lead for the Homes for Heroes initiative here with many of the partners. Also thanks to Gerard Wint, who's at the back of the room, who's our Public Housing Division Director, for his expertise and skill, and to Ed Cabrera, whose previous experience as a member of the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness is invaluable to the local initiative. The San Francisco Homes for Heroes effort, as you've already heard, is working to find homes for chronically homeless veterans who have in their possession a HUD VASH voucher. Specifically, the goal is to find housing for 50 veterans in 100 days. To accomplish this, we need housing owners and landlords to step forward and join their colleagues here to make their rental units available for these heroes. We know that we still have a long way to go before we can call this effort a success. And it's going to require intensive and sustained engagement by the communities and their teams. As with the Housing Choice Voucher Program, also called Section 8, rent paid to the landlord is determined by the comparable rent other owners can receive in the open market. That is what determines the rent ceiling. So I want to take a brief moment to acknowledge that the heavy lifting in the San Francisco Homes for Heroes program is being done by the VA caseworkers at the San Francisco VA Medical Center and the staff at the San Francisco Housing Authority. The Obama administration has made a commitment to end veteran homelessness by 2015. We look forward to working with our local communities to achieve that goal. In conclusion, I thank all our community partners for their dedication as we work together to make San Francisco Homes for Heroes a best practice to permanently eliminating chronic homelessness among our veterans. Our veterans deserve nothing less. And as mentioned earlier by the mayor, the 100-day community effort has already begun, and there's a real sense of urgency. There's only 70 days to go. So thank you very much.
So next we're going to hear from Jake Martin from the Veterans Administration, and I just want to say that in working on this campaign, these are just not numbers on a page, and the VA has helped us really to understand the individual stories and histories of those who are holding these VASH certificates to help find them housing. So Jake, please come up.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Jake Martin. I work for the VA, and I've been there for about 20 years. Currently, I'm the Comprehensive Homeless Center Director, and I work with Joanne Peters, who is our Chief of Social Work. So we've seen many, many homeless veterans come through my clinic down at 3rd and Harrison. In 2008, we received 35 vouchers. I had over 300 veterans express interest in those vouchers. We interviewed every single one of those veterans to make sure that we were housing the most eligible, the most chronically homeless veteran. And it was a daunting and it was a lengthy process, and I see one of my case managers in front of me, Michelle Nicholas, who was just very instrumental in helping us get that done. Every morning when I come into our clinic, what I see is men and women who served in the armed forces, who, and myself as a veteran, who worked on the plane that I flew in the Middle East, who, you know, helped pack my parachute, who did all those things that were necessary to make sure that the mission that I had was achieved. So that's who I see every morning when I walk out there and see the homeless men and women who are out in the clinic, or when I walk out and do outreach in Golden Gate Park, or I drive all the way up to Eureka, which is part of my area, and see the men and women who are out in the wilderness camping because they're just too traumatized by what they had witnessed during wartime. So it's our goal to make sure that we end the homelessness. And thankfully, we have a president who's really stood behind this, and our Secretary Shinseki, who has made it a very lofty goal to make sure that we end homelessness for veterans by the year 2015. And I am so thankful that we have this city team that everyone's been talking about and that the mayor has said that's just so important. Our collaboration with HUD has been outstanding and incredible. And the PHA has just been remarkable in the things that they've been able to do and finish for us to get our veterans housed. You know, Bevan Dufty, thank you very much for taking this from the San Diego boot camp to getting this a reality and making sure that this happens. To our landlords who are here, I thank you very much. It's so important to have those landlords, and we could use more. I have so many homeless veterans who come to the city that it's important for us to make sure that they are housed. Our city and county shelter system, I can't say enough about that, Joyce, because they're oftentimes our first line of defense in getting those veterans off the street and getting them housed. Our community partners, Swords, I mean, I've been working with them for 20 years, and for me it's so important to have that community partnership. They have been so instrumental in getting many of our men and women housed, clothed, jobs, training. So it's just been an incredible thing for us to have this city team working together and collaborating to end this homelessness. And we will do it. It's just a matter of time and how we do it, and we need everyone's help in order to do that. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So Jake used the word remarkable to describe the effort by the San Francisco Housing Authority, and so I'll next welcome Henry Alvarez, the director of the San Francisco Housing Authority.
I'm going to be very brief. I just want to say thank you to all of our heroes. I'm actually a son of a veteran as well. And when Bevan and I first got together, he said to me only a couple things. He said, could you think about this in ways you've never thought about it before? So our goal is to facilitate getting these veterans moved into houses as quickly as we possibly can and be as innovative as we possibly can. So I'm going to take just a second to say thank you to 3 of our staff folks, Nicole McCrae, Yoshiko Kennedy, and Robin Musalam, who's here with us today. That's our commitment, Mr. Mayor, thank you, and we will do everything within our powers. We will move that line as much as we can to get it done as quickly as we can. Thank you very much.
And next, as the mayor spoke about exceptionalism, and I want to welcome the leader of an exceptional organization in San Francisco, Michael Blecker from Swords to Plowshares.
Well, thank you so much. Well, this room is pretty amazing, right? All the players here in the room and the interest the media has, and a lot of this is really reflected in the public perception that we can't let what happened to Vietnam veterans happen to our newest generation of vets, right? We can't let there be a term homeless veteran. There shouldn't be homeless veteran. That those two words shouldn't come together. And so I think it almost makes you believe in democracy that we have this many folks here and this much interest, because the public is saying we got to do something. And so we can't have business as usual. There's a sense of urgency. Every day someone on the street suffers, and we can't allow that. So I think I'm hoping not just this 50, other 50 veterans, but we continue this effort with the support, and really San Francisco's stepping up big time here. So I don't know, whoever calls San Francisco unpatriotic, don't know the meaning of the word. So anyway, thank you.
And now we're going to have the opportunity to hear from a landlord, and I'd like to welcome Judy Wu, who herself has a renter who is a VASH recipient. Judy, come forward.
My name is Judy, and I'm currently housing 6 veterans. They are great tenants. Paid rent on time, appointment on time, nice, clean, no complaints. I think the voucher the VASH program is great. I'm really thankful. Thank you.
So as we said, we have veterans that are here. We have our federal and local partners here, and so we'll allow the press to talk to us individually. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll make ourselves available. Thank you so much.